and they put out signature Caitlin Clark balls and other merch that literally sold out within minutes of them going.
A'ja Wilson is not pleased with
A'ja Wilson isn't happy with Nike's sudden push to spotlight Caitlin Clark. After facing intense backlash, Nike finally leaned into promoting Clark, especially with her custom Nike Infinity Tour 2 golf shoes making headlines. But that move didn't sit well with everyone. A'ja, once considered the face of the brand's WNBA efforts, now sees the spotlight shifting. And while many fans still believe A'ja is the league's true queen, the message from Nike feels loud and clear. Caitlin Clark is now the main event.
Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment? And why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why exactly? Why when A'ja was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
A'ja Wilson believes she's earned the spotlight, the star power, the attention, the big-time marketing deals. And to be fair, her performance this season backs that up. Statistically, she's been dominant. But here's the hard truth. When it comes to sales and marketability, Caitlin Clark moves the needle in a way A'ja doesn't. Every time Nike drops a product tied to Caitlin, it's gone in minutes. Even something as simple as a basic black t-shirt. Meanwhile, gear featuring A'ja, it barely makes a ripple. The numbers don't lie. The hype machine isn't just about talent, it's about what sells. And right now, Caitlin Clark is selling out arenas and merch.
Wilson is the best player in the league. Well, she has come out and she has made some more comments, and it is like these players just don't want these new fans, even though the new fans are the ones that drive the revenue, plain and simple.
A'ja Wilson still believes she can go toe-to-toe with Caitlin Clark. She expected to be front and center in Nike's next big campaign, but the truth is, she didn't deliver the impact they were banking on. Meanwhile, Caitlin's star continues to rise, and the spotlight has fully shifted in her direction. A'ja is struggling to keep up, and it's becoming clear she can't handle the pressure that comes with Caitlin's level of attention.
Your play on the court doesn't always equate to how many shoes you will sell.
Nike is finally stepping up and giving Caitlin Clark the spotlight she deserves, even if A'ja Wilson tried to stand in the way. At long last, the brand seems to understand who the real face of the league is, and they're going all in on Caitlin. Let's just hope A'ja doesn't sabotage her momentum again, like she nearly did a few weeks back.
Boys that I don't really listen to, honestly, because I'm in season. I have other things that we need to worry about than what other people.
Initially, Nike had A'ja Wilson front and center as their go-to face of the WNBA, but as Caitlin Clark's popularity exploded, they couldn't ignore the shift any longer. Her name was trending across social platforms, dominating headlines, and even drawing in fans who had never followed women's basketball before. It quickly became clear this wasn't just a moment, it was a movement, and Nike knew if they didn't get behind Caitlin Clark, they'd be passing up on the biggest opportunity in women's basketball.
It led a bunch of these players to get very jealous and petty.
While A'ja Wilson saw Nike's pivot as a personal slight rather than a strategic move, the truth was more nuanced. Nike had poured significant resources into building her brand and wasn't quick to shift course. But over time, the hesitation became harder to justify. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another standout athlete, she was becoming a cultural force. Her rise sparked a new wave of fans, many of them young, loyal, and eager to support everything she represented. Nike recognized the power of that momentum. These weren't just casual supporters, they were future customers, trendsetters, and the kind of demographic that drives long-term success. And in Caitlin, they saw a game changer.
Somebody coming along and elevating the sport shine ultimately benefits you. Go out there, compete with her, try to bust her up if you want to, and all of that stuff. Just don't hate on the acclaim that she's getting.
Nike was finally forced to recognize what had become undeniable. Caitlin Clark was quickly becoming one of the most marketable athletes in all of women's sports. Her ability to draw in fans wasn't just about what she did on the court, though her elite play was definitely part of it. What really caught Nike's attention was how far her reach extended. Clark wasn't just appealing to basketball diehards, she was breaking through to everyday households, capturing interest across different audiences. And for a global brand like Nike, that kind of crossover power is marketing gold.
All the jersey sales numbers, we didn't actually see the actual numbers, but we saw the top jersey sales in the WNBA this season. And A'ja, despite being a third-time MVP, her jersey sales were 5th in the league even after Kate Martin, who barely saw the court the second half of this.
This was the moment everything shifted for Nike. They couldn't ignore it anymore. Caitlin Clark was drawing in a whole new wave of fans from different age groups and backgrounds with an energy that was impossible to replicate. And when Nike sees that kind of spark, they move quickly. The brand began shifting its marketing focus toward Clark, but not everyone was thrilled about it, especially A'ja Wilson. It wasn't just that Clark was getting more attention. For Wilson, it felt personal. She had put in the work, carried the league for years, and suddenly someone else was being crowned the face of the WNBA. In her eyes, Clark hadn't faced the same battles or earned it the hard way. She hinted at that frustration in public comments, suggesting that Clark's rise wasn't purely about talent, that other forces were at play. Until then, Wilson had been known as the quiet powerhouse, a humble leader who let her play do the talking. But these recent comments came off as bitter. The same fans who once championed her started questioning whether she could handle sharing the spotlight with a new superstar. Meanwhile, Clark's connection with fans was undeniable. She brought charisma, authenticity, and edge-of-your-seat action every time she stepped on the court. People didn't just tune in, they got emotionally invested. They followed her journey, bought her merch, and blew up her social media. That kind of fan devotion is rare, and when Nike saw it, they knew they were looking at a gold mine. Clark wasn't just a player, she was a movement, and companies like Nike understood that if they aligned with her wave of momentum, the payoff would be massive.
Is Wilson currently the best player in the WNBA? Yes. Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlin Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be the...
Nike saw a golden opportunity the moment they started rolling out Caitlin Clark branded products. The response was instant and massive. Her jerseys flew off the shelves. Even the simplest merchandise like posters and tees were gone within hours. Fans weren't just interested, they were obsessed. And when word got out that a signature shoe for Clark was in the works, the hype hit a whole new level. Everyone knew the moment it dropped, it would be gone in minutes. The real turning point came with the anticipation for her custom sneaker. Fans had been waiting for it, and Nike knew they were sitting on a blockbuster. For A'ja Wilson, this created a tough comparison. While she has her loyal supporters, the numbers told a different story. Her merchandise moved steadily, but it didn't come close to the frenzy Clark was creating. And that's exactly why Nike started shifting their spotlight. It wasn't about favoritism, it was about demand. Clark's following was larger, louder, and ready to spend. And from a business standpoint, Nike had no choice. They followed the momentum, and Caitlin Clark was leading it.
Stop being petty. Stop being catty, cause she like a double-edged sword. She couldn't tell left and right, and it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin. Hey, do me a favor, CC. Send your favorite uncle a jersey with your autograph on it.
It was a tough truth for A'ja Wilson. No matter how dominant she was on the court, her merch simply couldn't compete with Caitlin Clark's. And in the world of sports marketing, that's the bottom line. Merchandise numbers talk, and Clark's products were flying. That kind of commercial buzz is exactly what brands like Nike chase. So Nike couldn't keep looking the other way. They saw the numbers, they saw the momentum, and they knew that putting their marketing muscle behind Clark would mean massive returns and unmatched brand exposure. Still, this wasn't a snap decision. Nike had been aligned with Wilson for years. They had history, loyalty, and mutual respect, but even one of the biggest companies in the world has to make tough calls when the game changes. And Caitlin Clark changed the game. Her rise was impossible to ignore. A cultural moment too big to miss. So Nike made their move. And while some players, like Angel Reese, publicly stood behind A'ja, the reality was clear. Caitlin Clark had become the face of Nike, and Wilson, despite everything she had done, had to step aside.
Oh, stop being petty. Stop being catty, cause she like a double-edged sword. She couldn't tell left and right, and it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin. Hey, do me a favor, CC. Send your favorite uncle a jersey with your autograph on it, and I will.
From Nike's perspective, this was never about choosing sides or declaring Caitlin Clark better than A'ja Wilson. It came down to simple math. Clark was pulling in more fans, more buzz, and more revenue. So naturally, Nike made the business decision to ride that wave and shift more of their marketing power toward her. But for Aja, that shift hit hard. After all, she had been the face of Nike's WNBA presence for years. Watching the spotlight drift towards someone else, especially so quickly, felt personal. It felt like a quiet exit after all the work she'd put in. Still, Nike didn't see it as turning their back on Wilson. They saw it as progress. Clark wasn't just another name. She was the breakout star redefining what women's basketball could be in the mainstream. And for a brand built on forward momentum, investing in Caitlin wasn't betrayal. It was strategy.
Seriously? The arrogance. People are going to consume what they want to consume and who they want to consume, whether you like it or not, and it's not up to A'ja Wilson to let anybody do anything.
A'ja Wilson didn't just see Nike's pivot toward Caitlin Clark as a business move. To her, it felt personal. For years, she'd built her identity around her partnership with the brand. So when Nike shifted their focus, it came across like all her dedication was being quietly pushed aside. Wilson had been a loyal face of Nike. She carried the brand proudly, stood as a pillar in the WNBA, and led by example on and off the court. But loyalty and talent alone don't always translate to sales. And despite dominating the league for years, Wilson struggled to move merchandise. That's where Caitlin Clark changed the equation. She didn't just bring talent, she brought star power. She could play, she could sell, and she could connect. In the world of marketing, that's the trifecta. And for Nike, it meant Clark wasn't just another athlete, she was the full package.
One of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all, according to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey is apparently sold out in all sizes. It was rumored that she actually outsold Dallas Cowboys.
The WNBA has been affected by
Caitlin Clark's rise hasn't just transformed her own career, it's shaking up the entire WNBA. Her success is doing what the league has been trying to do for years: bring women's basketball into the spotlight. Clark isn't just drawing attention because of her skills on the court, it's her connection with fans, her electrifying presence, and her ability to make every game feel like an event. Suddenly, people who never tuned into a WNBA game before are watching, and they're not just watching, they're hooked. Her impact goes far beyond viewership. Thanks to Clark, brands that once overlooked the league are now lining up for sponsorship deals. That kind of interest brings serious money, the kind of money that can lead to better facilities, higher player salaries, and long-term growth for the sport. Clark's stardom is also shifting the way people view the WNBA. New fans are realizing the league isn't just competitive, it's exciting. Her rise is proof that there's a massive audience for women's sports, and it's helping reshape the future of the league in real time.
Wherever she goes, ratings follow. The WNBA draft, the doubleheader to open the NBA season, ratings.
A'ja Wilson's frustration came through loud and clear in her recent comments. She believes she deserves more recognition, and she isn't shy about saying it. But now she faces a critical decision: continue voicing her disappointment publicly, or channel that energy into her performance and find new ways to re-establish her brand. This moment could be a turning point in Wilson's career. How she responds will shape how fans and the league view her moving forward. Will she let this narrative define her, or rise above it and prove she still belongs at the top of the WNBA? Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has already proven she's not just a superstar on the court, she's a marketing powerhouse. That's a reality A'ja may have to come to terms with if she wants to stay competitive both in the game and in the spotlight.
The WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark. Make that abundantly clear. But it was growing incrementally compared to the exponential growth you're seeing now. And this is just data, this is just objective facts. Be mad with data, please do not be mad at.
For A'ja Wilson, this shift might feel frustrating, even personal, but in the bigger picture, it's a huge win for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's rise is lifting the entire league, opening doors, and bringing attention that benefits everyone, not just her. Yes, Wilson might feel sidelined right now, but the momentum Clark is creating is pushing women's basketball into a new era. Whether some players choose to acknowledge it or not, her impact is undeniable, and it's helping grow the game in ways the sport has never seen before.
Not the reason. The reason is something that the WNBA's been battling since day one. Lack of viewership starts with lack of promotion. Lack of viewership starts with lack of networking.
Let's hope more players begin to recognize just how much Caitlin Clark is doing for the league. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. Clark isn't just bringing in sponsors, she's attracting new fans and helping the WNBA grow in ways that benefit everyone involved. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next story.